And for more details, let me quickly go across to our diplomatic correspondent, Siddhant Sibal, who's joining me live from Osaka. He will be continuously tracking all the latest from the G20. Let's quickly go across to Siddhant. Siddhant, a very good morning to you. Now, the 14th G20 Summit is all set to start in Osaka. And do tell us more about it. Prime Minister Modi usually keeps himself very busy at the international summits. Siddhant, what is his schedule going to be like for this G20 Summit?
Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be participating at the 14th G20 Summit in Osaka. This will be his 6th G20 Summit since 2014. But first, in his second term, India will be raising issues such as economic offenders being provided safe haven, black money, and energy security. And of course, the Indian Prime Minister will be meeting a whole host of world leaders, including US President Donald Trump, France's Macron, Russian President Vladimir Putin, Chinese President Xi Jinping, and Prime Minister of Japan Shinzo Abe. All in all, he will be having 10 bilaterals and policides all combined. And we also know that there will be two important trilaterals, the Japan, America and India J trilateral, the first of whose meeting took place in last year's G20 summit in Buenos Aires, and the RIC meeting, the Russia, India, China meeting, which has been a tradition. Also an informal BRICS meeting also will be taking place, an important meeting which has become a permanent fixture in the sidelines of the G20 summit.
All right, Siddhant, plenty of important issues for the leaders to discuss over there. What is likely to make news on the global front this time around?
Well, of course, it's G20 and the global economics and politics will be dominating the summit. We know that the summit is happening in the backdrop of tensions between Iran and US in the Gulf, and of course the tensions between US and China on the issue of trade. It's a full-blown trade war between Beijing and Washington, and we know there will be an important bilateral between US President Donald Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping. So that will be the focus. This grouping, of course, was formed in the backdrop of the 2008 financial crisis, and since then it has evolved into an economic and political bloc which has a major role to play, given the fact that it contributes 85% of the global GDP, 75% of the global trade, and almost 2/3 of the global population lives in this grouping.
Right. All right, Siddhant, since this G20 is taking place in Japan, all eyes are on Osaka right now. What is the situation like in the city?
Of course, Osaka is all set to host world leaders, and G20 is not an easy task to host. Every city which has hosted G20 summit has seen a lot of security restrictions, and security restrictions have been in place in this city as well. Other than that, schools have been closed and hotels are overbooked, but of course they are not providing all that facility, given the fact there are restrictions imposed because of the incoming world leaders, and the security is something that no host country would like to play chances with. But by and large, India is also going to host the G20 summit in 2022, and India will of course be learning from experiences here in Osaka, and of course with earlier cities as well, such as Buenos Aires and Hamburg before that. But by and large, Osaka is all set to host the big G20 summit, the 14th G20 summit.
All right, Siddhant, we will continue to track your sojourn to Osaka for all the latest. Thank you so much for bringing us these details. Now, the timing of the G20 is very crucial because it's taking place amidst rising US-Iran tensions. US President Donald Trump said that he is ready to do whatever Iran picks in its dealing with Washington. Listen in to what the US President had to say.
Well, there is no message. You know, I'll tell you what the message is. When they're ready, they'll have to let us know. When they're ready, they'll let us know. Very simple.
Ready to negotiate, you mean?
Ready to do whatever. Doesn't make any difference. Whatever they want to do, I'm ready.
Trump added that Iran's economy is falling apart and that this can be changed very quickly. It is up to the Iranian leadership to steer the country in the right direction. That's what Donald Trump had to say. Listen in.
It's too bad this is happening. They're living badly right now. Their country's not doing well economically at all. That can be changed very quickly, very easily. But they have to get rid of the hostility from the leadership. The leadership, I hope they stay. I hope they do a great job. But they should talk to us decently. We're all for them. We want it to be done properly.
Trump's comments come after he threatened to obliterate parts of Iran if Tehran attacked, quote-unquote, anything American. The president tweeted, and I quote, "The wonderful Iranian people are suffering and for no reason at all. Their leadership spends all of its money on terror and little on anything else." The US has not forgotten Iran's use of IEDs and EFPs, which killed 2,000 Americans and wounded many more. Iran's very ignorant statement put out today only shows that they do not understand reality. Any attack on anything American will be met with great and overwhelming force. In some areas, overwhelming will mean obliteration. No more John Kerry and Obama, quote ends. The statement that the US president is referring to is that of Iranian President Hassan Rouhani. In a televised statement, Rouhani said that the US sanctions on Iranian Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei shows that the White House is mentally retarded. Rouhani questioned the impact of the sanctions on Khamenei, considering he has no assets abroad, calling them an example of Washington's desperation. The Iranian president added that Tehran's strategic patience should not be confused for the fear to act.
ذهنی شدن اینا. کاخ سفید دچار معلولیت ذهنی شده. یه آدم اینقدر عقلش از دست بده و بیاد یک کار وقیحانه و احمقانه ای انجام بده که چی؟ رهبری یک کشور رو بگه من میخوام تحریم بکنم چی؟ که نیاد آمریکا. خوشمزه است، ما حالا اونا رو راه نمیدیم، اینا میگن شما نیایید.
And so Iran is set to abandon more commitments under the 2015 nuclear deal. A news report cited a note from a top security official to claim that Tehran will walk out on more commitments on the 7th of July. The Fars news agency reported, and it says, as of July 7th, Iran will forcefully take the second step of reducing its commitments. Quote ends. Now, the report was quoting Iran's Rear Admiral Ali Shamkhani, who is the secretary of the country's Supreme National Security Council. Reacting to this report, France said that Iran would be making a serious mistake if it walks this path. Remember, this comes after Iran said that it was suspending 2 of its 2015 pledges. On the 8th of May, Iran gave Europe, China and Russia a 2-month ultimatum to help the country circumvent US sanctions on its oil. Tehran said if the countries fail to help Iran in selling its oil, then Tehran would abandon the end deal commitments. Now, due to Europe's inaction, Iran has already begun to increase its enriched uranium and heavy water stockpile. Iran is set to soon pass the limits set for it in the 2015 nuclear deal.